Yep, Independence is a vibe. I'm Travis.
And I'm Chris.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on YouTube and on Instagram at Independence is a Vibe, because you know that it
Yes,
is.
sir.
And so, as always, y'all know we got some type of topic for you. And today's topic is how to work from home with comfort and focus. Now, I'm going to just say the reason why we chose this topic is number one, both of us have had experience working from home, right?
Yeah.
But then also, too, we chose this topic because whether you work in somebody else's job or you kind of, in my shoes doing your entrepreneurial type of thing, it's still work.
Mm-hmm.
And what good is it to work and not be comfortable? Or to work and you can't focus?
Gotta be comfortable.
And you got to be focused. So, I mean, yeah. I think, too, that comfort could make you lose focus. If you're too focused. I mean, too comfortable.
It
Right?
depends.
It depends. It does depend. It depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
I know in my experience, I got a work from home job that lasted 2.5 months. It was I forgot what they called them jobs. It was a contract job.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a contract job. But before that, I had to work for like 5 years. So getting back in the swing of things, like back in the workforce and things like that, I had some mornings where I had to work, and I was, I'm nodding off. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm used to getting up, take my daughter to school, come back home, do whatever I want to do. If I'm tired, I could lay down on the couch, take a nap, which I rarely ever do. But if I'm really tired, I'll take a nap. But when you're working, you can't take a nap. So that was a switch for me, man. I nodded off a couple times, with the headset on, because certain times of the day my body just get tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to chilling, so
I feel like you gotta have a routine.
yeah.
When you're working, sometimes you gotta be like, okay, at this time I'm gonna get up and take a little break and go to the kitchen or something.
I did that a couple of times.
Get a snack.
I would get up, because they give us like 2:15s and we get a 30-minute lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I would get on my first 15 and I'd go outside, and just walk around underneath my carport.
Right.
Let the fresh air hit me, get some sunlight on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you get to be comfortable in your pajamas. You gotta put on no clothes. Just have your pajamas on while you working.
And that's one thing with me. Like I feel like if I don't know, man. Like if I put on pajamas while I'm working, it's my mind gonna be like it's bedtime. Right? See what I'm saying? I had to put on regular clothes. They didn't ever see me because we wasn't on no camera. But
Yeah, I'll be focused.
for real,
When I'm comfortable in pajamas, man, I'll be focused. I'll be like, let's get this day over with.
and then see, like my problem was also too, like having to fight my mind wandering off. That's the thing that made me the most tired too. Cause the phone is ringing. I got the headset on, and my mind is just like, what am I doing when I get off from work? I'm gonna see what I'm saying. I don't know. My mind wandered a lot.
I mean, my mind be wondering if I'm in the office or if I'm working from home. Either or. So, I mean, I still can wonder. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go. I get on my nerves.
I mean, but see, like for me, before I wound up being at home a lot, I had a physical job where I was moving like heavy stuff all day and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that because there's so many adjustments I had to make, I ain't have time for my mind to wander.
Mm-hmm.
But a job where I'm sitting down at a desk with a headset on, there ain't enough movement, so I'm just my mind just loose.
Yeah.
It's running free. So I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it's for everybody.
yeah, I found that out. I found that out. Talking about being focused. Sometimes certain jobs, if you're not a person that you're able to rein yourself in, it might be hard.
Yeah.
It might be real
I think
hard.
it takes some time to get used to.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're going to work from home, you should get like a non-phone job.
especially if you're a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a definite.
Like data entry or some kind of chat, email type work
Yeah.
from home, something like that. Where you just, you ain't got to, you can, just be chilling kind of. Just answering emails or whatever and chat.
Right. Put you some music on and
You
relax.
can be watching TV and just,
You know. Um. So, what is one thing you did to just be more comfortable working from home?
uh, I mean, just kept the same routine as if I'm like while I'm at home. Like I'm not working.
Okay.
Like
I feel you on
had a
that.
TV on, be in my PJs.
I
You
feel
know,
you. Comfort level at 1,000,000. You
yeah,
just.
got some food right next to me, snack. I mean, I'm just chilling.
Man, I don't know. I didn't bring I ain't have no snacks next to me. I guess I was too nervous that they was gonna hear it, on the phone or whatever. Then they told us we listening in on the calls and stuff. I was like, oh really?
Let me chew louder then.
he said let me chew
Let
louder.
me chew louder then.
Oh man. And talking about working from home, being comfortable, being focused. Being at your own house, it does give you a certain level of comfort. This your zone. This where you.
Yeah, I feel more productive at home because I ain't got nobody disturbing me, pulling me away from what I gotta do.
Breathing down your neck.
Hey, you can get more stuff done. You ain't got nobody, just. There's always that one person in the office, man. They just want to just tell jokes and just always.
See you working and they got to come. Hey, Travis, guess what?
Like disturbing you. You trying to get some stuff done, and it's like just messing up what you got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can feel that too.
Yeah.
And my thing is this, man. I feel like working from home is great. It does to me, it has a lot of pros. Not too many cons that I see. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, pros. I mean, you saving money.
Yeah. Staying out the weather when it's cold or it's pouring down raining. Yeah.
Let us say saving money. That's
the big one right
that's
there.
the biggest one right there. I ain't gotta be burning gas. I ain't gotta be buying food.
Also, it's like I say it's no rush, even though you gotta be on for a certain time. But it's like you either sleeping in the same room your computer in, or your computer is in the next room over. You're not going to an actual building.
Damn, if you gotta go to a building, you gotta get like an hour or something early to get dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I gotta be to work for 8 o'clock in the morning. I get up 2 minutes before time.
You said 2 minutes.
2 minutes before time and just sign on.
Right. I thought he was about to at least say 15. He said 2 minutes.
2 minutes, man.
Man, hey, I feel you. That flexibility, that feeling of freedom that you get from working at home.
Yeah.
Because you don't have, like I say, you don't have nobody, calling your phone saying, hey, you got to wake up and then you got to go do this and that. Nah. Right. It's all on you.
Yeah.
That's why they always say if you, look at job descriptions for work from home jobs, they always say a self-motivated individual.
Right.
Because you got to get yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you going to have to go and get on the computer and sign in.
Right.
Now you could choose not to, and you do that too many times, but you won't have no job. So I mean, yeah. Another thing too, the job I had before, I was at home a lot. It was always hot because I worked in a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
But when you work at home, it could be 100 degrees outside, but you got the air on in the house.
Yeah, you set your temperature to what you want it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing too. Ain't nobody gonna mess with it.
Right.
Because if you work in an office, you might like it cold, but Marjorie might like it hot. You know what I'm saying? So she gonna mess with the thermostat when ain't nobody paying attention.
Right.
Because she too cold. So I don't know, man. I just feel like working from home, it does allow you, like you say, to be more focused.
Right.
But again, that's if you are that type of person, or like you say, you get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I said, man, when I was working from home, my mind ran like a track star. It was just everywhere. I couldn't wait to get off there just so I could catch up with my thoughts. Like I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? It just, I had times when I'll black out completely.
Dang.
Just like I'm on the call and my mind would just go blank while I'm talking to the customer. And I'm just like, I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm just being real. Like, hey, because we had a whole script that we supposed to follow. So I'm looking at the screen reading the script, but my mind is wondering because once you read the script so much,
You done went off script, huh?
yeah, you done got numb to it. So you reading the script and you just like a robot. You know what I'm saying? Which they be like, put some changes in your voice because we don't want you on the phone just blah 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 blah. They want you to hype up or whatever. But I was,
Hype up what?
yeah.
I'm gonna hype up, all right.
When I clock out,
Right. I'm gonna be live then, huh?
But yeah, it happened a couple times, man. Just I'm reading the script, but my mind is wandering, and I don't know if I just couldn't keep both of them together. You know what I'm saying? But I blank out because whatever's on my mind, it then took over. But I can't say that out loud, and I'm like, and then my brain just go blank, like it's nothing there. And I freeze up on the car and just hang up the phone. Just
Dang, you gonna hang up on the cousin?
yeah, I done that 4 or 5 times. Like especially when it gets to like the end of my shift, I got like an hour left. Cause like I didn't know what to say. I had lost all my words. It was gone. You know what I'm saying? I was just gone, and I was like, well,
Just unplug your router. Like, oh, my internet went out.
I have to get up and go because my router like way across the room. I'm just like,
Okay.
well.
Just flick the little power switch. Turn that mug off.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of times. Just
Shut the whole computer off.
I'm talking about like going through the script, getting in the middle of it, and my brain just shut down, and I'm like, man, I can't remember what I was gonna say. But I'm looking at I can't remember the spot I was in. I'm looking at the words, but can't remember where I was. So I'm just like, well,
I guess it's a bad thing about having to read from a script. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You gotta. It kind of is kind of robotic. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of. I can see how it can get old real fast.
and they used to tell us like they ain't want us to be, robotic. They ain't want us to just read it with like a monotonous tone. We had to kind of pep up, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's kind of hard when you bored, man. This ain't nothing exciting, you know what I'm saying? We was calling people about their health insurance, making sure that did you get your annual doctor visit for the year? You know what I'm saying? And them people ain't want to hear about none of that. They was like, I'm like, don't answer the phone. That way I don't look bad and you don't have to deal with me. Like, just don't answer the phone. Let it ring or whatever. Send it to voicemail. But people would answer the phone and we start going through the script and they just like, I don't have time for this. Get off my phone. I'm like, why did you answer it then if you won't?
Just hang up already.
Man, one time I slipped. Just for real. I slipped.
You slipped like.
I slipped. Like the customer, he was like, you know what? I hate this company anyway, and I can't believe they dropped the insurance and didn't tell me anything, and I went to the doctor and I ain't have no insurance, and I'm sick of them. And he was going off, and I said, sir, hey, I didn't take the job from you, sir. I didn't take the insurance from you. I'm just working. I didn't take it from you. I'm not the person that you deal with, if you lose your,
Right.
And he said, well, Chris, I bet you want your family to eat. I said, my family eats just fine, actually. What about yours? You see what I'm saying? Because now I'm engaged in a conversation. Like, we're not supposed to be saying all of that.
You done blacked out, huh?
Part of me did. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, sometime on these jobs, you got to be in touch with your inner G, man. You got to, because sometimes people are, but the guy was just pleading his case, which I feel him on that. I mean, you go to the doctor and they tell you don't have no insurance. Well, I mean, but that's, he was going off on me, and I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I understand when you work for the company, it don't matter if you just the person that greeted you when you walk in. They feel like, hey, you the manager, go fix my problem. I'm not a manager.
I guess it's that they're not mad at you. They just mad at the company, so they gonna. You the one that
lash out on the first person.
you the one they talking to, so they gonna take it out on you.
But I sure told him, I was like, sir, I didn't take it from you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it. I ain't pushed the button or whatever they. And he was like, it doesn't matter. You work for him. I said, well, that is true.
Right.
That's true. I said, but you know, you in control of how you feel, sir. And he was like, whatever, man, you don't understand. And he hung up the phone, and I was just like, I was trying to help him.
Oh well.
Next, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, that's why I think that working from home does have certain advantages. Because again, if I was to do those things and I'm working in the office, there's a boss walking around making sure we not just disconnecting calls. You know what I'm saying? They looking at you physically like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you at home, ain't nobody breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
You know, having somebody listening in on your call is not the same thing as having somebody physically looking at what you're doing while you're doing it. That's a whole different way to take the pressure off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Also, I think that being able to move when you want to move physically. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, hey, my legs, in my case, like my legs were stiffening up sitting down so long. So I would just, you know, take the headset off, hop in the chat and be like, hey, I'm about to go to the bathroom or something. And they like, okay. And I might not have to use the bathroom. I just walk down the hallway back and forth trying to loosen up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or you can do some jumping jacks while you know what I'm saying? Nobody can be like, why are you jumping up and down?
Right. Maybe I just got some good news. Mind your business.
Do some push-ups.
That too.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to stay moving to kind of stay loose. So I was like, yeah. But if you working at an actual office, you can't just hop up like you saying and start jumping up and down. They going to think something wrong with you.
Right.
Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But also, the good thing about working from home is you can work anywhere.
Right.
So that flexibility, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to move to a different state, you could. You ain't got to worry about getting transferred and all this other stuff. You can just move.
Yep.
If you go on vacation
Yeah.
and you ain't getting no time off, you still can work. Just make sure you check on the time zone.
Man, one man did that when we was in training. They was telling us about this guy who he had a laptop, and they was like, first of all, number one, y'all not supposed to work from laptops. They was like, second of all, you got to be hooked up to an Ethernet cable. So the guy went on a cruise to Jamaica, and when he was in his room in Jamaica, he hooked up to, you know, the Ethernet cable so he could work to make sure he get all his hours and stuff.
Yeah.
And they recognized that his IP address was coming from Jamaica instead of the USA.
Dang.
And they hit something in the office where they were from in the USA and shut down his system.
Oh.
Like not the computer, but the little digital little virtual terminal we work from. They shut that down. I guess because they, you know, we was dealing with people's insurance and they personal information. You know, you don't want no leaks.
Yeah, security risk.
Because we had people like social security numbers and banking information, all of that, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, but they shut him down from where he was, even though he was on the Ethernet cable. Like, and I was like, bruh. And then he got back in the States and he got fired.
I bet.
I said, wow. And he said, you know, they thought he was trying to steal information. He was like, nah, I was on vacation, but I couldn't get approved for the time off, so I still went on my trip. And I was just trying to work. Well, now you don't have no job. So, you know, I guess when they say work from home, they mean your house, where you live at. Where's your registered address?
Right.
Man, sir, please. Because, you know, if you wouldn't be here if you didn't need the job.
Right.
So follow the rules.
Maybe he should have said, hey, I'm going to be
Out the country.
So it's okay.
Yeah, and if they'd have been like, well, no, you can't hook up out in the country, you just got to take that L.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to money, we don't want to take L's, but
Nope.
like you said before, man, L don't mean loss, it means lesson. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think another thing too, man, is when you with a company that understand everybody's working from home, so there may be different weather where this person is located versus like this person in another state.
Yeah.
Because there's been times like when I was working, we would have like a little thunderstorm here, and the thunder is hitting hard, it's lightning, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm looking at my lights flickering. I'm like, well, the power might go out. You know what I'm saying? And I hop in the chat and I'm like, hey, we experiencing some bad weather here. I don't know how long it's gonna last. And they would be like, okay, well, just, you know, just make sure you stay safe. And if your power goes out, you know, we understand.
You're hoping that power go out.
I had a feeling you was about to say that. A couple of times I did too, man. I was like, nah, I hope the power go out, even if it go out for like 2 minutes. When they come back on, I'm not logging back in. Just be like, my power went out. See, because like me, I don't be wanting to lie.
And it go up about 6 hours.
You say 6 hours. I had 2 hours left in my shift. He say 6 hours, right?
Oh, that's perfect.
6 hours. Man. But yeah, you know, and another thing too, man, it's we at the job I had, it's like they got to a point where it was like it's too many people calling off, and it was like, so coming up to these last 3 weeks of the job, nobody is allowed to take off, and I was like, man, nah, you can't say that because people have children or people have their own like appointments they gotta go to. Nah, I ain't. And it just so happened right after they said nobody is allowed to be off, right?
Everybody quit.
My little girl got sick.
Oh.
She wound up getting like strep throat or something and couldn't go to school for 2 days.
Okay.
And when that happened, I'm like, man, I told them way before the shift started or whatever. I'm like, yo, my little girl's sick. I'm gonna log in, but then if she called me, I'm gonna have to go and take care of her. And my supervisor over me was like, he emailed me, say, look, you need to go ahead and log out because we can't have you signing in and out. So go ahead and clock out for the day.
Okay.
I said, all right. And he said, I hope your little girl feel better. And that was it. Okay. And for the next, I took off like that day and the next one, making sure she was good. Which she bounced back pretty quick, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it felt good not to be there for 2 days. Like it was just, and then it was crazy. Like I worked that whole week. After she bounced back, I worked that whole week, and then I got sick.
Dang.
Like whatever she had, the little cold, it went to everybody in the house. I was just the last one to get it.
Okay.
And I started losing my voice, you know what I'm saying, coughing a lot. And I realized like it started kicking in while I was working. You know how you get that little itch in your throat?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine, but every now and then I'll be, yeah, so yeah. And then it started having way too much.
Yeah.
And then my throat started feeling like it was on fire, and I was like, oh, man. So, emailed the boss. And the boss was like, oh, you got to take off again?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sick. Losing my voice. You can listen in on the calls if you want. But I'm out. I'm gone. And that was like the last week of work. So they emailed me a day later and was like, are you coming back for our next project? I told them no. And that was it. I was done. It was, you know, and I get that, like, they had a job to do, you know what I'm saying? But I got to take care of my family and me too. So, again, one of the advantages of working at home, if you have children, you don't have to send your children somewhere. You right there with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some jobs, they will allow you to be able to, you know, you can clock in, clock out, pause stuff, and go, you know, work, help your child, and then come back. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, the jobs where it's like a chat, you know, like the typing in the chat kind of job.
Yeah, the chat.
You don't have to explain nothing to nobody. You just go do what you got to do and come back.
Well, I don't know if you can just do it like that. You probably, like you say, got, reach out to your supervisor or something.
I mean, it ain't like you gonna be gone for hours. I'm just going to check my child's temperature, give her medicine, and come back. Yeah. That's what, 2-3 minutes. Like,
oh, you mean like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
quick
that.
Like that. Yeah.
Don't you mean like go to the mall? Then
Nah, I ain't talking about like that.
Go to the movies. Go to the movies right quick.
Nah, we ain't talking about like that. You doing too much. But yeah, just that comfort and flexibility. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't bring a sick child into the office if you working in the office. Mm-hmm. They're gonna be like, "What you doing?"
Right.
My child has the flu, but I gotta work. Like, you brought yours. See what I'm saying? You done brought the flu to the office? No. You gotta go home, cuz. See what I'm saying?
And y'all the flu.
Nah. So yeah, I mean, being comfortable at home is good. Cause I also think too that it reduces your stress. Mm-hmm. Versus like being in a place with a bunch of people, mm-hmm. a building you got to report to, you got to drive and fight traffic. That's enough to make you angry right there.
That's the worst.
And then you got to try to leave that outside the door.
Yeah.
And you go to a job where you might deal with one coworker or a couple of coworkers that like to get on your nerves just because they know they can. and you already mad. That's what I say, man. Working at home is definitely good.
Yeah.
It's for your mental health. Working from home, you can't beat it.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, man, I think also too, like you can do things at your house that you couldn't do in the office. And when I say that, like what I mean is if you wanted to have like a certain fragrance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some people might not like fragrances.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you might want to have like a little plug-in that's kind of got this fragrance going through your house just because it smells good and relax you. But you can't do that in a public workplace because people have, they allergic to certain things, stuff like that.
Yeah, or if you like to wear like certain scents on your body,
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta worry about nobody saying, "Oh, that's just
it's too strong."
Too strong. Or
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
So yeah, man.
You can also get your chores done.
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
gotta wait until the weekend to do everything. Just do it while you on break or something.
Mm-hmm.
Cook dinner.
Oh yeah, especially with like a slow cooker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So many pros to it.
Right. So that's why I say like, I say, man, they need to make a push to like make more jobs available for work from home.
I think they have more work from home jobs now than ever before.
Yeah.
Because now they're saying that everything don't have to be in the office.
Because I was trying to find like jobs that focus on like retail experience, but I could do that stuff from home. Mm-hmm. Which I did find those jobs. They were just customer service, which basically is like, you buy something out of Walmart, something happens, you call the Walmart hotline, they forward you to me.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But I'm here at my house. I'm not in a office.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that's good.
Yeah.
Now learning the different little codes and little systems they use, that might take some time, but I think customer service that comes down to the individual person.
Yeah.
Some people just not people persons, if that make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm just naturally I'm naturally a real calm, relaxed person. You can talk to me at any time.
Yeah.
I'm not a person that's always gonna snap and all of that. I could be having a bad day and still talk to somebody kind, even though they just tick me off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes it even easier to do it in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I like too is, like, I worked retail for more than 10 years. Y'all know that if you follow the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So like, one difference that I did see is dealing with an irate customer over the phone.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, versus like them in your face physically.
Yeah.
it's way different. Of course you don't want to hear nobody loud in your ear yelling, cussing, because I dealt with that a lot. But you could take the headset off.
Right.
You ain't gotta listen to it.
But then your face is
different.
It's kind of hard to get away.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think that there is a certain level of comfort, that'll help you to be focused if you're working from home. And also, a lot of the pros that we was talking about, this applies whether you're somebody that's disabled or not. But I think even more so for the person that have a disability.
Yeah.
Because you might work, if you got a disability, you may work in a building, but it may not be handicap accessible in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're at home, nobody has to come and adjust things for you. You already got your, your routine and your adjustments in place. Everything is set already.
Or maybe accessible, but there's only like one accessible stall in the bathroom.
That too.
And people love to go in there because it's a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta wait for them to come out.
Right.
And it's like.
And they take it forever on purpose, looking at their phone.
Right.
You like, bruh, come on.
But if you at home, you know what I'm saying? You set.
Right. There shouldn't be nobody hogging the bathroom.
Right.
Well,
unless you live with somebody, but
yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
But they ought to know, like, if it's only certain, I go in this certain bathroom because this the biggest bathroom we got.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in there wasting time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do and get out. Because if I get in there, it may take me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And you would expect your family to be more understanding to that. So, right.
That's true.
Yep. But it's definitely, I think working from home is definitely way more comfort, which allows you to be more focused to do the best you can on your job.
Yeah, allows you to be more productive.
Exactly.
Uh,
But yeah, man.
but yeah, y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram and on YouTube at Independence is a Vibe, because you know that it is.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back next week with another video.
Stay tuned.
And we out.
Peace. You got the almost went up there in person. Like,